Hi, happy Friday. It's been a while since I did a video and I've been busy with life. Haven't we all? So, there's been a lot of topics I want to talk about. And what came to mind today is I feel like a lot of people have anxiety, triggers, feeling very overwhelmed with life, or even maybe not overwhelmed with life, but situations create us to have this overwhelming feeling inside, or if it's anger, if it's sadness, if it's frustration, and it can come up in different ways, such as at work, in relationships, every day, maybe in grocery stores, whatever it is. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, angry, frustrated, sad, whatever it is, ask yourself, who am I right now? Because it is your inner child screaming at you, wanting to be heard, to be seen, feeling really hurt, rejected, or something triggered you to feel an emotion. It's huge when you feel that. When you realize that you can ask yourself those questions. Who am I right now? Why do I feel this way? What is this feeling telling me? Ask yourself the different questions as if you're interviewing yourself or a little child. Because when you ask questions to a child, you don't ask the questions in the same way you would do an adult. You're actually kinder, softer, more gentle, right? Same with puppies, dogs, animals, especially if you're an animal lover. But you don't have the same perspective or way of treating somebody when you realize that you're talking to your inner child or to a favorite pet or whatever, right? When you feel angry, sad, mad, or just you don't know how to express your feelings or know what the feeling is, you're tying a story to it. So your inner child has tied a story to it. So just understand who that inner child is at that moment, what age she is, and also what story did you tie to this? Because anything can make you mad, sad, angry, triggers, right? But if there's situations we just don't understand, or just suddenly we create this kind of like notion in our head or whatever, it's not apparent to us that we're creating stories or we are developing a storyline in our own head, because it comes as a defense mechanism, or it comes because of experience of tying it to a story, right? It's so subconscious that we don't even know we're doing it. So when you become consciously aware that you're doing it, it becomes very easy to tap into that and start to resolve it and acknowledge where you are, and then acknowledge and validate it. And that becomes to listen and to resolve, surrender, and let go of that. So it no longer has this energy charge behind it or trigger to create these stories anymore, or they don't mean as much to you anymore, and it will actually become easier to live life, easier to understand yourself, easier to understand why you get triggered, why certain thing has a story. Hopefully this makes sense. um let's see if I can draw up a story that I can tell you. For instance, so I have been in the corporate world for a long time. I look younger than what I am, but I've been in the corporate world for a long time and in technology for a long time. And the way a lot of guys treat women in technology, especially people that look young and dress a certain way, even if they're stylish, they have a way of not looking at you in the face, or they look everywhere else, or they look to a male counterpart to answer the question, uh, or they talk above you and talk over you and disregard anything you have to say and just do what they want to do, become very annoyed, irate, or they treat you differently, like you're stupid or something like that. Now, very likely that's a story that are played out in their minds, right? How they see people. But also what plays out in my story, my experience in life is that it has happened so often in my career that I almost expect it. And my brain has developed this defense mechanism and going, oh, somebody's threatened by me, or why do they think I'm stupid, or nobody hears me, nobody sees me, and so on and so forth. And then I become annoyed, or I have to raise my voice, or I feel like I have to be on the defense and be very stern or firm in when I speak. And I have to catch myself. Most times I have to catch myself to make sure that, hey, is this really happening right now? What story are you telling yourself? Who are you right now? Oh my gosh, why are you getting so annoyed? You're feeling as if somebody's trying to suppress you and they don't want to hear you. Is that really what's happening right now? No, you're really mad at yourself for not clearly speaking up or saying what you really wanted to say. And somehow, because of your experience, you filtered what you wanted to say. Ah, that's a story. I see what you did there. Thanks for protecting me. So that's two stories, right? One of the other person, what could be going on in their head. Because remember, we all have stories. There's not a single person on this planet that does not have a story that's tied to it. Because the stories are tied by experience and what they deal with every day and repetition, right? So when you meet people, you're dealing with their stories. It's huge. It's huge because when we realize that when we talk to people, meet people, we're not really seeing a clear picture of ourselves. And a lot of us out there, I've done it for a long time, and it's still something I practice every day too. And I see it in a lot of the powerful women that I coach and have in sessions, and also my friends and colleagues, where it plays out. And it's not just women, it's also men, where it just keeps playing out in their lives. So it's something that we need to catch, because it's very easy to tie stories to things that are happening right in front of us. And then later on during the day, we associate more stories, but it's more so from our experiences. It's more so from our mental mind and subconscious patterns that we're like, oh yeah, that's what happened, and I'm so angry right now. How dare they treat me like that, and how dare it become like this? And it always happens, and we have to be very careful of using always happens or creating these toxic thought patterns in our minds, because we have to be kind to ourselves. We don't want to create defensive ways of being. We want to see it from a new perspective. So therefore, identifying the story that you tie to it when you become overwhelmed, or any kind of emotions that you don't understand, or it comes from somewhere you're like, oh my gosh, where did it come from? Sadness, anger, hate, frustration, annoyance, irritation. um, you know, just ask yourself, what story am I tying that into? Who am I right now? Ooh, and the 5-year-old girl that never got heard, was always bullied. Ooh, and that is that why I want to be seen more? That kind of thing, right? So you're and then you start talking to yourself as you're your child. just to reparent that child. I know that it's safe, and that kind of touches upon inner child work, but we'll talk about that next time. I just wanted to share this. It's been a while, so thank you so much for listening. I honor the light in you. Thank you for honoring the light in me.